In this live coding session, we're going to take a tool that I made from the stuff that we've already written in previous sessions called TestableView and incorporate that. And we'll start doing test-driven development outside of SwiftUI. Welcome to the Quality Coding live stream. I am John Reed, and greetings to the folks who are already here. Mudshark. Hey, Dan. And BitSpectre, not sure if that is a troll or whatever. But hey, hello. Cactus to you. Hey, welcome, Ignacy. Omar. Very good to have you. For folks who are watching after the fact on YouTube, this is a series of live coding sessions that I'm doing on Twitch. Welcome, Silverback. Where we're doing test-driven development in SwiftUI, or for SwiftUI, directly targeting the views. Part of this has been a larger goal of mine to start, to learn and to write. Well, cactus to you, BitSpectre. Thank you. Good to have you. My goodness. Okay, that was a surprise. I take it you're not just some rando who happened to wander through. Thank you. I appreciate it. Like you must have been lurking before or something. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, for YouTube folks, and for anyone who's new, doing test-driven development, with SwiftUI, learning about it so that I can write about it, and share it with the larger crew. Let's do. I do want to share something that I made yesterday. TestableView. Let me show you our code. There may be. Hello. Come on, keyboard. Stay with me. So we've got this helper to hide a lot of boilerplate that's involved with dealing with View Inspector. Ah, nice, BitSpectre. You know what's funny? I keep checking for like who's streaming any Swift, anything. I haven't found many people. Very, very rare. So we've got a test helper here to hide the View Inspector details. And I started to work on like what's an even simpler starting point for new readers as I start blog posts. And it's going to be my counter app again. This is something I've done for TDD with UIKit, where you just have a count and you have an increment button and a decrement button. And I started down that front and like, oh shoot, I want some of these tools that we created here. So I set out to make one of these available. Most of the people are, well, that's why I don't see them. Although 12 a.m. Eastern, I'm on Pacific time, so maybe I'll try again later, late at night. Thank you for that information. So TestableView is a new thing. Here, I'll drop it in here. All it is 2 files. It's a whole lot of stuff, including a sample app, to run two files, but the first file is, well, that looks familiar, doesn't it? There's just some slight name changes. Oh, but to get this to work, because this has a key path to view inspector hook, and I'm like, well, I don't want to keep repeating this helper every time for every single view we make that requires us to investigate state changes, which I imagine will be most of them. So it's like, how can I have a key path that goes to something if it's not there? And the answer that came to me was, well, define a type. So the type is very simple. It's just the hook you need in a protocol and a type alias to join that with view. So that, here, let's bring it in. Let me bring it in to this project. Let's see, where can I stick this? I'll just hide the chat for a little bit. So part one is bring TestableView into production code. Like that. Like that should still be fine. I could have just built. The other part is to bring update TestableView into the test code. Update TestableView doesn't know where TestableView is defined. And so it's got this placeholder. So here we type for this project, mastermind. And there it is. It's sitting out here. It's an extension, as you can see, to XE test case. Oh, I started to play with Swift testing over the weekend. I guess it's still the weekend. And yeah, found some oddities. But one of the main challenge that we face with View Inspector is that it returns, from this helper at least, it returns an expectation, an XE test expectation. There, I'll show you. Run it, one of these, which is, of course, for XE test. It's like, well, how do you do this with Swift testing? So I think View Inspector, like all the other testing tools, kind of needs to explore the new territory a bit. Maybe provide a second helper that can return whatever it is that you wait for, however you wait for it, which I haven't quite checked out yet. Have you played with Swift testing yet? Let me know in the comments. See, I'm curious what you think. I'm pretty excited about it. Anyway, this should now compile. Yeah, not yet, right? Quick and Nimble is making Rachel, the maintainer, is making changes to Quick and Nimble to stay up to date, and part of that is making proposing changes to Swift testing. So that'll be interesting to watch. It's a good first crack. Swift testing is. It's a very good first crack. Supporting folks who make third-party tools. Yeah. Hey, Garbob. Yeah, pretty cool. I think it's cool. All right, let's now use this TestableView. So in our game screen, I'm going to define this not as a view, but as a testable view. And that should just happen automatically. If you don't have it in place, you know, Xcode will say, well, I need this. I need that view inspector. We have it, so it's fine. And you still need to add this hook. Oh, I've also been working on code snippets. So this is view inspector trigger. Doink, like that. VI trigger. I do have a state code snippet like that. I think I have a binding one. Yep. So stuff is starting to come out. Thank you for your help with me. Your work refactoring, helping me to refactor this stuff is, you know, it's going to make a difference for people. Nice errors out of the box. That's good. Async test going wrong. Yeah. Oh, I found a funny one. I was like, can I still use... I was trying to see if I couldn't get View Inspector to work. And so I did the horrible thing, probably something nobody has thought to even try, and that is I turned this into import testing, and I kept it as a subclass of XC test case, but added an @test annotation, and Xcode just went hello, buffer. A few more folks have joined. So right now I'm still trying to get this new helper in place. The only other thing we need now, I should be able to, well, let me not delete it yet. Let me just call update instead. Then I should be able to delete that thing. There it is. So now I should be able to get rid of that. And that is TestableView. It'll help, I hope, help folks, help make life better for folks who are doing, the intrepid few people who are doing unit testing for SwiftUI. Let's get this in. Hello? Oh, need to get back to mastermind. There we go. That looks fine. Yep. So this is a test supported refactoring of incorporate TestableView. And I'll push that. Hello, Coder Tricks. Are you M underscore in the reminds me of kind of old school identification of you know, prefix naming, like M for something. Private, yeah, maybe. All right. So that is work that wasn't on the board, but let's get back to the board here. Where are we? We are doing mastermind, and we drill down into the in progress orange cards in the tree. We're trying to get one color to tap. Well, yeah, close enough. And we want to tapping the color to set the guess. We want to add, we're working on adding a second choice. Right now, the mastermind app is very primitive by design. There is one color to guess, and one place to put it. Come on up, preview. Come on up, preview. Here it comes. Okay, so there it is. That's the one color we have. If I tap this, it goes in there as our guess. We are trying to expand to add a second color or code. And to do that, we're doing the many of one refactoring technique. And in the process of doing that, we discovered we need to add some, we need probably to get out of view land and start expanding this into a domain concept. What's really cool about doing TDD from sort of the front, from the UI back, we have two choices, right? We can start from infrastructure and build up. We can start from the UI and build down. We can have a combination and meet in the middle. Starting from the UI and working back means that domain concepts emerge as we need them. And we didn't really know that we needed code value until we did. What else is on here? Let me just take a quick look. Revisit concept of ID. I think that is probably okay. As is. I'm just going to keep that there. It's more of a question. Let me detach this. I'm going to add it as a note over here, and we'll see if that becomes a thing or not. We want to extract a new domain concept for code choices. Right, here we are. We've got code choice brown, and that's selection number 1. We want to add code choice 2, that's black, with value number 2. Hey, Eric. Oh, Eric, I wanted to ask you. You had a thought about this. Setting the background without using the Z stack. Here, let me show you what we got here. So you had an idea about how to do this, and I wonder if you can remember what it was. Right now, you know, it works, but it's kind of funny. Let me know if you... Sorry to put you on the spot. And it would be more fun, of course, if y'all could talk and we could do this together. Maybe we should get on a Discord sometime and actually do some of this together. However, I'm enjoying this time a lot, these sessions. So that's a question. What background on the H stack? Well, let's see. If I have an H stack here and I say, yep, that is exactly where we would do a Discord group coding thing on Grant's really good Discord, which is also a great, just a good place for chat. Lots of good discussions happen there. Grant, go ahead and share that if you want to. Remember, this is going out to a larger audience. So background. You're saying if we do this, come on, color background. The question is, can we get rid of that? And it doesn't look like it. There we go. Check out the Discord, folks. If you're not already there. Good place with one of the rare collections of crafters, code crafters, who are working in Swift. So, don't think this is going to work. That's all right. It was worth a try. Let's get back to, and thank you, Eric. I knew you said it last time, and I'm like, I don't want to forget that, so wanted to give it a try. Yeah. For now, I'm going to leave it. But, good stuff. I think I'll leave it the way it is for now, just for simplicity, but there it is for posterity. And folks can try, if you ever want to see this code itself, well, here it is. And what happened? What's going on? Hang on a second. We've got a build failure. And I don't know what went wrong. Oh, shoot. Let's fix this. So this is a break on the build system, right? It works great locally because I've got this fine. It's like, am I using a package resolved that is beyond? What Xcode are we using here? 15.2. So I think that we're seeing the problem of me running a local version of Xcode, the latest blessed one, that is ahead of what's on GitHub Actions, what's in the GitHub Actions runner right now, which is 15.2. And this is a problem with package resolved. Inside the project, inside the workspace. Let's go there for a second, have a look. So inside the project, inside the workspace, where was it? Project workspace, shared data, Swift PM. Oops. Right, so it's this package resolved file. And I think there is something, which I just submitted because I'm like, oh, I got an update for a view inspector. Suppose the easiest thing for me to do would be to revert this update. However, what to do? What I could do is, which I did in the sample project of the TestableView, is actually ignore this and just say get the latest, whatever it is, not a specific version. Since it's just us, I would be okay doing that. If we were on a team, I'd be like, well, we can't use, yeah. Yeah, it's probably something like that. Xcode running ahead. So for the sake of time, maybe I'll just revert that change. This one. Let's have a look at it. So that made it angry for some reason. I think it would make sense to add it to the git ignore. Then I can continue updating my Xcode and hopefully things would be okay. Let's do that. All right, so let me remove it from here. From Git itself. And let's what was it? Wow, this seems huge. Guess it's what I normally use. So there, let us do that. This is an environment change of remove. Oh, there it is. I did it in the other project. So that hopefully will fix things on CI. Well, on the build system, we'll find out soon enough. Meanwhile, we are trying to work on code choice. Okay, let me describe what I imagine here and why Bill Wake last week suggested this is a domain concept. We should pull it out and TDD it. I'd like to have I'll just create a new area up here. Well, that's not much of a shape. Good enough. I'd like to have a code choice that has where we define it just by the color. And that's so that product can say, well, let's use some different colors. But right now we have brown, black, blue, and green, and these numbers for accessibility. The numbers are not normally shown. Like that. We do want them. But the numbers need to be unique. So what I would like is something like this. Something that takes these as inputs and creates something new. Giving each one a unique number. And the transformation could also say how many codes do you want from the list of all possibles. That's kind of thinking ahead, but I don't think it'll be that hard to do. So it might make sense just to do it right now instead of deferring it. Here we have how many colors? The hard version, the super 8. There are the colors. So it's like, if that's the list of possible colors, how many do you want to play with? Let me just note this here. So sort of just getting the story in place. Select, use 2 colors. This is super teeny tiny, and let me make this much bigger. Right. This is something else. Blue. Yeah. That looks like something worth doing and worth TDDing. And to do that outside, away from the view. So plain old TDD. Let's go. That is going to mark this as in progress. Hey, there are a fair number of folks who have joined. Welcome. Do say hello if you feel so inclined. Oh, and I wanted to see, does it fix this? It's still working on it. Pass in a list of colors and then ask for end choices, or whoops, or what? Or do we pass in, do I create, one of you said, this feels like, last time I think maybe it was Eric, this feels like an enum. And I thought, there's an enum and an array aren't really great together. Then I thought, well, but then there's the ability to iterate over, what is that? An enum iterable? Let's see if case iterable. Thank you. Yeah, like could we just define it like this? And that way that ensures that the colors are unique. Oh no, they're not colors at all. But no, they can be colors, can't they? What do you think? If we have, do I ever want to refer to, if you pass the colors in, they won't be set in stone. Let's start by moving this out to someplace new. Just doing a move, and unfortunately that means doing a copy and paste. Wish I could just do a move. That's the paste. There we go. That seems to have worked. I'm going to run tests, and that's good. So let's check that in. I'm assuming that things will go green. Kind of want to see where it is. Hang on a second. Okay, looks like the build went green. Good. Okay. Just wanted to check that. So that is a test supported refactoring move code choice. And push. All right, now let's add some tests. Let's just start writing tests. The tests will help us design this. I'm going to make sure that this fails. That ensures that our infrastructure is fine. So there we are. I'm going to check this in. That is really a test-only change. It added to the project file. Or is it an environment change? This is only needed if we want to change colors on the fly. User configurable. All right. Let's start. By trying to describe what do we do? Yeah. The first thing I want to do is pass in one color and say I want one color and get out a color that has an index on it. So I'm just going to call this one color. Choose one color, or not choose. I need some terminology here. Generate one code choice from one color. There we go. That gives me an idea of what I'm going for by thinking about the test name. Sometimes test naming can be funny, and it's like, I don't really know what I'm doing yet. But it's good to slow down and think about it. Now, let's start from the assertion and work back. I'm just going to accept this as something to work with. Result is going to be red 1. color and code value. Red and code value will be 1. So that is what we want to verify from the result. No, it's going to be an array. Like that. That looks pretty good. If you can't think of how to write an assertion for something, then you may not be ready to TDD it yet. And which is okay, but this is Ted Young, Jitter Ted. Hey, follow Jitter Ted if you don't already on Twitch. He does Java-based work, but he is a master in the craft. And he talks about you need to make your thing verifiable. And if you haven't figured out what that is yet, then you need to figure it out before you can make it automatically verifiable. So this is going to be some result. Oh, look at this. That's actually not a bad approach. I want to specify how many colors. So count may be the wrong word. Let's see if this can help us. Count might be the right word. I don't know. It's hard to say. And we can always refine it. So I'm not sure that I want this as something in code choice, but maybe I do. Like, here's the next question is, let's figure out the API. Should it just be a standalone thing like that? Generate code choices from a set of colors. And number count instead of count number to take. New abstraction for what? The input? Oh, for the generator? Maybe we'll start with it out on its own. Oh, hang on a second. There, you saw my green screen. Just wanted to check that. Extension on array rather than code choices itself. Take 4. Yeah. Take is a better word. So Eric, to your question, well, let's write it up, right? Let's try it. We're designing the API. So if I have something like that. I think that it will be important to actually have something I can talk to rather than having it as an extension. Um, Partly because one thing we want to check as a failure case is preventing this, two colors that are the same by mistake. So, great question. Let's stick with this for now. Should this throw if this has, if thinking about error cases, that should like throw an error, I would think. And this should also throw an error, I think. Right now, let's aim for happy path and do that. Does it need a home, a class or type in which to do this? A new abstraction, as Mudshark suggested. Yeah, maybe it does. Why am I thinking that? Because it would be a good place to have a home for, like, what are the colors going in? Kind of just bringing everything under one roof, as it were. So, oh, as a set. I like that, because then you can't make the mistake. How about this? Oh, it does need to be in a particular order. What do you think of code choice generator? Generate from something, take 1 or 4 or 8. I'm going to say try. That looks pretty good. Let's roll with it. Let's see if we can't make this now. All right. I'm just leaving this in the code choice file for now. Let's see. Now this is interesting. Normally in a capable IDE, like app code, I would now say, okay, there is no such thing as code choice generator. Let's make it. There's no such thing as the generate from take static method. Let's create it. Let's get it to this is called frame first. I think I still want to do that. I just wish I had, a way to generate it from the call site with let the IDE do it for me. And I thought, do I want to accept this? Let's accept it and see what it is. Because it starts to suggest some things. But it does give us something to work with. Right? That should, I think this will now be a failing test with enough infrastructure to work with. Let's find out. Predict one failure. Whoops. Oh, okay, it's fine. It's not fine. That's not what I expected. Code choice needs to be equatable. So here's a question. The only reason I want code choice to be equatable at this point in time is for the test. The easy way out is to put it here, but that's providing some production code that no production code is calling for. So tell me if you think this is nuts. How about that? It doesn't let us do that? Okay. That's too much. I don't want to start going down this road. Let's go back here. I think colors are equatable. Maybe they're not. Let's see if we get the one failure that where my prediction, and this is Xcode being its usual silly self, is because I want to see the failure. I have to click around for it. That we empty array is not equal to red 1. Can you somehow get the IDs from the choices? Not sure what you mean. Right now we have code color. We have color and code value. There's our error. Is there not a better way to see this? Okay, I'm going to get rid of split screen, or maybe we'll split it the other way. Normally I split left to right instead of asserting the whole code choices. I mean, I do want to see that we get red 1. So you were trying to dance around the equatableness. We could like check each component, each property in tuples. Yeah. This seems easy, just to slap equatable on and be done with it, even though I tried to dodge it. So I think we've made it to red. Failing test, failing in the way we want. Now let's go and see if we can't do the simplest thing, which this sure doesn't look simple. But it looks maybe like something we're going to get to. For now, I'm going to get this to pass by hard coding red 1. This is the silly way to pass, but it gets us to green. By silly, I mean fastest. Hello, to Dinosaurus. When I display a list with duplicate elements, I prefer to declare ID as UUID, but that is problematic in tests. Right. When comparing these models, despite being the same, the assert will fail due to the UUID being different. That's a very good question. Why have I never come upon this that I can remember in recent history? That's a very good question. What do folks do for this? It's like you need a comparison that either ignores the UUID or you need a way to stub the UUID into hard-coded results for testing. One or the other. Another approach might be to use approvals. Does approvals have a UUID scrubber? I think it might. Let's see. Scrub dates. So approval tests is another tool that I work on with Llewellyn Falco, the creator of approval tests. And it has a notion of scrubbing where you say, you know what, go through, replace, spit out the contents of my data structure as text, but replace stuff. For example, take dates and replace them with the next thing. Here it says, it'll say date 1, date 2, and so forth. Looks like we'd need to come up with, like, it would be nice to have a scrub UUID in here. You can do it yourself. And that way any matching UUIDs would be like, it would be called UUID 1. Anything that matches would share the same scrubbed version. But that's kind of using this tool, which I understand not everyone will want to do that, especially to bring in a third party, yet another dependency. So what do you folks think? In our case, I'm not using a UUID as the identifiable. That's sort of where the code value comes in. It's just like, this is code 1, this is code 2. That is a really good question. Worthy of discussion. So to recap, the two things that come to mind, besides using a regex, is to, and using approval tests. One is to specify the ID from a test, let the tests create the UUIDs and specify them. And the other is in your equatable, if all you're using for equatable is the values, then come up with your own equal implementation. Define this, where you go through and map, compare each property except for the ID. So it depends on your needs. Those are my suggestions. Hey, Nemesis, welcome, first time chatter. Woo! I think if you make code choice on enum that is case iterable, then you can generate it as a static function in it without need to provide an array. It will also solve the problem of uniqueness. That is a good thing to look at. Right now we have the test passing because it is hard-coded. What I learned from reading Kent Beck's definitive book on test-driven development is that we have now introduced a subtle form of duplication. The duplication is in color red 1 appearing here and also here. There's the duplication. I'd like to solve that. So let's use this. Let's do some refactoring. And welcome, Tukes. Good to have you. Oh, thanks to Dino. All right. Great question. It's like, that's worthy of a blog post. Maybe one of you can write that. All right, let's see if we can't. I don't know about dealing with the error cases yet. And yet I kind of want to. Yeah. So I think this will pass. It does? All right. There, I think it was Eric who suggested taking a prefix. There's no real need for this yet. Just as there's no need for this yet. Let me just keep this here. I know it's ugly, but I don't want to have to go back. I'm just trying to get to the minimum amount of code. The problem is that Copilot wants to like just add more and more stuff, which is like, yeah, maybe we'll get there, but we don't have a test that requires it yet. And I want to honor the laws of test-driven development by not having the production code race ahead of the tests and do something that's not called for yet. So this passes. I think that's a reasonable refactoring. Let's get it in. So I'm going to say that is a procedural refactoring. Use color passed in. Like that. Even this, I think technically, this ought to be like this. Of course, this will all become plain in the as we grow the tests. Let me get this in. So this is a test-only change. No, it is not a test-only change. hard code value. Or it's a bit of duplication, but it's a step forward. I want to be mindful that we want more tests. Hello, push. Hello, are you going to push? All right, that was not a fun time to lose my internet, but at least it came back. Some of you are still here, so thank you for sticking around. Just kind of want to see this through. I was like, we're so close. Do I just quit now? I don't even remember where we are. Oh, I was trying to push. Yay. Okay. All right. Yeah, may as well keep going for just a little bit more. Let's finish or make a little more progress with this. Because what we can do is say, this should still pass. In which case, and the reason I say that is because the production code got ahead of the test code. No, it didn't. Okay, I think this will fail because it's missing the prefix. Let's try it. Red, blue is not equal to red. A little hard to read, but there it is. So, I think I successfully kept the production code from racing ahead because the prefix count should now take care of this. There we go. So that's some good TDD there. Generate one code choice. It's not really from one color anymore. So that seems legit. Still a few of you around. Thanks for sticking around. Let's finish this off. Now I'm questioning some of the notations I've done because really we've done feature work. This was not a refactoring. I think I messed up. This is a small feature of take only the number of codes specified. Use color, add home, use color passed in. Yeah, I messed up my commits by not having a feature in there. Oh well. Generate one code choice. The next obvious test is generate two code choices. Red, blue, take two, where the result will be red, blue, like that. This should say code value 1 and code value 1. 1, 1 is not equal to 1, 2. Good. And so now we should be able to say this is the index plus 1, like that. Thank you. Copilot. There we go. That's valid. So this is more feature work. Use advancing code values. All right. What else? What else? What else? Bummer, I lost most of my audience there. So I think this is a good enough place to leave it for now. Let's call it a day. What did we learn? What did we experience? Hello. Retro. We used TestableView as the new thing, the new kid on the block that pulls out code we had already written into something that other folks can use. And something else I'm going to note is as we're designing the API, don't rush designing API. Also try some variants and compare. So that's something that we did to say what do we want this API to look like? Again, from the call site, saying should it be this, should it be that? Do we want to pass this in? Figuring out the sort of the shape of this. Code choice generate from take or taking two. Take one, take two. All right. Bummer about the internet. Happens. Good thing this wasn't a paying gig for a class. Right now I'm teaching at a company. So that is it. Folks watching this on YouTube will have a better experience because you won't have that great gap where my internet was down. Take is from functional programming. Oh, okay, that's decent enough. All right. So other folks might be able to catch up on the Twitch stream, as there'll probably now be 2 recordings in there. You'll be able to pick up. If so, hey, thanks for coming by. Folks watching on YouTube, thank you for watching. Give this a like and subscribe if you like it. And we'll keep going next week. I'll see you then. Take care. Bye.